Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently up 5.36% to 29,866. Ethereum up 8.2% to 2062. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. Please consider sharing and liking this video and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as part of our globally extended KS family. What I've done is to just quickly go over key segments of the crypto market. Understanding what's happening below the hood of the crypto market is really important. We can see there's a broad-based rally, and still UST is not looking healthy. We can also see that Luna has come down substantially. But the one thing that we know is Bitcoin's gravity is pulling the entire crypto market upwards. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, and you can reach out and directly message me anytime on Twitter. Crypto technical analysts scientifically track investor attention, and that's measured through price, which is reality, not future promises. The first thing crypto technical analysts do is they understand that without knowledge they will make losses. If they're in zone 1 and zone 2, going all in on one crypto or all in on a position, they will lose money. Zone 3 and Zone 4 is the place to be. We don't light switch in Zone 3 and Zone 4. We scale in and we scale out. We're not trying to predict the bottom or the top. That's why we buy at support levels down and we sell at resistance levels going up. Not all in, not all out. It's critically important to be able to mark up your charts. If you don't understand the exponential nature of crypto, you'll get whipsawed and whiplashed all the time. And we can see that 2 days ago, the markets were coming down heavily. There was double-digit negative. But that's what we lean into. That's what we BORSOG. But retail influencers out there say run for the hills. They missed today. We have to contextualize our understanding with an understanding of how interconnected financial systems are. That's why we look inside the trend section to check stock markets, world events, and collect probabilities. Collecting probabilities is really important. We understand Zone 1 and Zone 2 is built on certainty, which causes losses. Zone 3 and Zone 4 is built on probability, which actually gets you on the right side of the percentage. Then we go back inside the crypto market, finding the market's focus, knowing that opportunities reset daily. And you can see that today. Yesterday was terrible. There was a lot of blood in the streets, but double digits today have made a lot of people happy. And actually, enhancing pattern recognition is incredibly important. That's part of the timing section of the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. Before buying and selling, the trigger section, we have to be professional and have mastery over our emotions. In Zone 1 and Zone 2, people blame. People point the finger at other people. Now that's a really, really big waste of time because the financial markets will do what they want when they want. No one can control them. A lot of people say, can we predict exactly when a crash is going to occur? No one can. Warren Buffett says that it's pointless, absolutely pointless to try to predict. In fact, when they come, and you can see by the difference between yesterday and today, there's so many double-digit positive gains to be made. As everybody is leaving the market, we're coming in because we're professionals in Zone 3 and Zone 4. Having a blame mentality actually destroys profitability, and a lot of people don't realize this, and I don't blame them. It takes years and years and years in market to actually understand this dynamic. If you find yourself in a blame situation, wanting to blame other people, please understand that that actually slows down your understanding. Blaming other people won't actually help you, learning will. In the trigger section, we learn how to buy and how to sell. A lot of people, when they invest, they know how to buy and they hodl throughout the tops and throughout the bottoms. And learning how to sell is incredibly important. I go through so many ways of doing that, and you can combine, just like an artist, all sorts of different techniques together to find what works for you. But part of the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass is to be all about 100% responsibility. And that's not a nice thing to say in many ways. We don't want to be 100% responsible. We want to look at somebody else and say, why did you make me do that? But the truth is, we only make ourselves do things. And when we learn, we can get better. And this is just a harsh reality that the financial markets teach us. I've been in the financial markets for more than 3 decades. I wish somebody had told me how absolutely toxic blame is. Everybody goes through zone 1 and zone 2. So if you feel you're there, don't worry about it. It's the way that the market takes us through the process. But when you can abandon blame, abandon arrogance, abandon or embrace learning, you're going to do really, really well. And that's what it's all about, embracing learning. To do that, we must forgive ourselves. And the first level of forgiveness is to actually understand all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. Hodling is a perfectly viable thing to do. But when do you hodl? When do you sell? Traders sell on green and buy on red. If you combine diamond hands with a diamond brain, you're going to do really, really well. You're going to lower your stress, your reliance on external news. Certainty becomes a thing of the past because you know there's only probability. To become professional, you must be kind to yourself. At times like this, people have suffered heavy losses and they want assurance. They want to know that they're going to be okay, and you will be okay, but you have to learn. And what is learning all about? It's basically abandoning blame. Any kind of blame that enters you will actually stop your learning process. And it's very insidious because when we feel pain, we want to get rid of that pain and put that on someone else. But professionals know there's no point in doing that. The market doesn't reward you for blaming or shifting the blame. It rewards you for learning. And being kind to yourself is one of the best ways that you can learn. Of course, being kind to yourself is critically important. Forgiving yourself for what happened. If you knew better, you would do better. We can't time travel, so you should always think about that. And of course, being kind to others is equally as important. We've seen recently that Do Kwon, who headed up Luna and Terra, was very unkind to a lot of people, and those people said, okay, we'll be unkind back, and countless billions of dollars have been wiped from the crypto market, and hundreds of thousands of lives affected by a pure level of unkindness. It does not pay to be unkind. It does not pay to be arrogant. What does actually pay is to have a positive excellence life trend and focus on real wealth. Delegate money down to where it belongs as the last thing on your list. If you do things properly, if you have inner and outer peace, your integrity and decency, kindness takes a lot of strength. It's a very unkind world out there, but you can also put on boundaries. Being kind doesn't mean you're weak. It requires courage and honor. All sorts of things to be kind in this world, but having gratitude and happiness and inner and outer peace will just absolutely lighten your day. All people go through the 4 zones: panic, blame, patience and rules, and mastery of fear. I shouldn't say all people, because it's true that some people don't get to zone 4, and that's the zone 4 is what I always talk about first. Because you can get to zone 4 in your thinking, which will speed you around to zone 3. There's a classic story of Jesse Livermore. At one stage, the inventor of day trading was amongst the richest people on the planet, and he actually committed suicide. He felt he wasn't worthy. He didn't master fear. He didn't feel worth and meaning. Feeling worth and meaning is very important. You don't have to have money to be worthy. This is an internal perspective, and at times like this, when so many people are hurting in the crypto space, having a mastery of fear, knowing that things will be okay, the sun will come out again, you will be okay, and everybody goes through this. Mind-numbing losses are part of the crypto markets. Well, all financial markets. It's just the tuition fee that is placed on all of us. But if it's in your blood, you'll keep on coming back to it time and time and time again. To move out of panic and blame, we require learning and forgiveness. Learning is always built on the foundation of forgiveness. If you find yourself just inadvertently in pain, you probably lash out at other people, and that will destroy your inner peace, but it will also cause a violation of outer peace. As professionals, we give away any Zone 1 and Zone 2 behaviors because they abide by the lose money rules. We're not interested in that. We want to make the money and keep the money. A lot of people, you could say Do Kwon was one of these people. He had rich thinking. He was showing off. He was more powerful than anyone. He said, billionaires, come at me, see what happens. And now we're paying the price for that particular position that he took, which is very, very sad. If Do Kwon had worthiness and meaning, if he understood that money is unimportant, it doesn't make you better. Money just gives you security and it gives you comfort, definitely. But the you that is you is always you. You do not need money to be worthy. You are worthy 100% already. We can see that Do Kwon, what he did not have self-mastery, so his wealth disappeared, and he just didn't take his own wealth with him. He took many thousands, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people's wealth with him as well. This is really terrible. I must admit that he must be feeling absolutely shocking right now. There's been a lot of cases in history where certain people have been one way. Abraham Lincoln was an example. Abraham Lincoln was a lawyer and he was very, very acidic. He had a very smart mind. Of course, he became president of the United States, but the concept was that he was acidic to everyone. He got so acidic as a lawyer that somebody said that they were going to kill him. And basically, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States, decided to become honest Abe, decided to say nothing bad about anyone. For people that know the background of Abraham Lincoln, it's really, really interesting. He was a certain person and then he decided to be another person. That's why I say life resets daily. It doesn't matter how people are yesterday. It doesn't matter how you were yesterday. Today is a new day, a chance to begin again and have a better life, have a happier life and a more meaningful life as well. And we also know Rule 28, opportunities reset daily, and we can see that in the crypto market today. But what happened yesterday? What did the crypto markets look like? They look like this: double-digit losses, Solana down 30%, AVAX over 30%, just tanking. Everything was absolutely nosediving. And what do we know about the retail thinking methodology? What we see is that when prices are coming up, everybody is really, really happy, and why not? It's fantastic. But what happens when they sink? When they sink, everybody takes off. All the retail influencers out there say clear the floor. Don't be involved in the market. Don't catch a falling knife. Don't do things like that. Don't dollar cost average in. Don't lower your average buy price. Wait till price comes back up and then get in there where it's safe. But is it safe? No, it's not safe. The markets are always moving in waves, and what we see is when the retail herd leave, the smart money enters because the percentage is on the right side. And a lot of people don't know about being on the right side of the percentage. It's kind of a hidden rule. They say be on the right side of the trade, but crypto is an exponential market. It's not like the stock market. It's not like Forex. What we saw yesterday was this. we can see Solana came down 2 days ago 30%, ADA 23%, and then ADA came up 31%, Solana up 20%, AVAX up 23%, Matic up nearly 32%. DOT, you can get the idea. You can always make money, but you need to be careful and you need to have the knowledge of how to do it. Yesterday, I put a little bit of a hidden Easter egg in that I was going to discuss, and hopefully a lot of people saw it. What you always look for when you see, for example, these are the stable coins, and you will notice that USDT has unfortunately been taken off Binance. What we see is this spike up in Tether. What do we notice about Bitcoin's price? It's coming down. And when we see a spike down, when Bitcoin's price is coming down, what do we anticipate? A spike up. Notice this, the inverse with USDC versus Tether coming down when the market is coming down. But this big spike up was an indication, a potential probability of a turnaround. And we also saw it with BUSD. We can see that Do Kwon actually eliminated $16 billion worth of market capitalization in UST. It's just utterly plummeted. This is all about learning. When people are open, when they can actually take the criticism and they say, I'm going to fix that, that's what it's all about. And Galaxy Digital and Jump and so many other major institutional players said, Do Kwon, of course you fixed that. And what do we see here? He didn't fix it. But does that mean going forward it's all over for UST and Luna? So what we can actually see is GAM denies rumors about Terra's negotiation bailout plan. This was in yesterday's news, but it was a very interesting thing. What we saw is GAM Holding has emerged as the first global giant to offer its help to Terra and its deteriorating ecosystem, but they've now denied those rumors. Let's have a look at Do Kwon. And don't forget, people can change, and hopefully Do Kwon does something about this. 50 minutes ago, he said, I spent the last few days on the phone calling Terra community members, builders, community members, employees, friends and family that have been devastated by the UST depegging. I am heartbroken about the pain my invention has brought to you all. He says, I still believe that decentralized economies deserve decentralized money, but it's clear that UST in its current form will not be that money. He says, neither I nor any institutions that I'm affiliated with profited in any way from this incident. I sold no Luna nor UST during the crisis. He goes on to say, we're currently working on documenting the use of the Luna Foundation Guard, LFG, Bitcoin reserves during the depegging event. Please be patient with us as our teams are juggling multiple tasks at the same time. A lot of people have reached out to me and said, Ken, will UST survive? I think all we need to do is look at what Do Kwon says. He says, while a decentralized economy needs a decentralized money, UST has lots too much trust with its users to play the role. What he wants to do is preserve Terra's ecosystem and its community. He's saying that the Terra community must reconstitute the chain to preserve the community and the developer ecosystem. What he proposes is resetting the network ownership to 1 billion tokens, 400 million to bonded Luna, Luna X and Luna to be held in contracts to recipients. The new chain should be community owned, and UST holders need to be made as whole as possible. Last minute marginal Luna buyers should be compensated for their role in attempting to provide stability for the network. So this is really good. Do Kwon has taken ownership over what was a gaping hole that was pointed out to him quite some time ago, and it's terrific that he's making these steps. I'm going to put this plan, Terra Ecosystem Revival Plan, I'm going to put the URL in the description of this video so that you can read it. There's actually a lot here, and there's a few things to be worked out, and you'll find that people are still quite confused over what is happening. But things will definitely resolve in time, hopefully in a positive manner. Abraham Lincoln went on to become a very prominent politician. Of course, he was president of the United States, but a very, very good person as well. It doesn't mean that a person who has made mistakes can't fix it and become a better person. And that's what we're all about inside our community, just becoming a little bit better every single day. So we wish Do Kwon will actually take the path of Abraham Lincoln. And of course, there's a few memes floating around. Why are you here? I thought you were financially stable. This is from this Netflix series, The Squid Games. Rule 225, Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. This is not a very well understood rule. A lot of people say that crypto is independent of the stock market. And of course, we'd like to think that. But so many decades in financial markets, everything is interconnected. People with big money just move it around the globe, seeking the best opportunities. So you've got to keep this in mind. The crypto market is about 1.27 trillion at the moment, and this data is a little bit old, but it gives you a sizing, a relativity between crypto, stocks, and bonds. And you can see crypto is really, really tiny. It's a very risk-on asset. And what we actually understand, that crypto is the next evolution of the internet. So it's not going anywhere. It's going to stay. And it doesn't matter what governments do to try and stop it. It will succeed just like the other internet succeeded. And we are so early. We literally have 2 decades of growth in front of us. You are so early in the crypto space. From the headlines of the Wall Street Journal, stocks rally broadly to end turbulent week of trading, and we should expect some carryover throughout the weekend. But just please be careful. You have to have your 3-way strategy. Know what you will do if prices continue to go up, or they fall, or they just go sideways. That's what professionals do. We don't just subscribe to one thing. We seek to cover all dimensions, and we can see that the markets in general have had losing streak after losing streak after losing streak, and we've not seen this in a really long time. Of course, we expected some relief rally to come. Many people say that we're in recession. Actually, we're not. We're in mid-stage, going towards expansion. And this is really important. A lot of people have various ideas, but there's mechanics that governs where we are in the business cycle. Expansion is a period of rising inflationary pressure, but also rising employment and rising profits until things get too overheated, where we enter into contraction. And we can see that from the earnings data. 70% of companies have beat their earnings. They haven't missed their earnings. If we were in recession, they would be missing their earnings. What do we actually see in the markets? And Masterclass students, you will receive my live chart in TM6. We see something really, really interesting. If you zoom in there, have a look at that. What do we actually see? In the VIX, the VIX actually gapped down. This was a huge increase in confidence of the markets and would be actually accompanied by upward prices. Now let's see if that actually happened. Just before I do that, I can show you here, there was a gap down in this particular area. Let's actually just zoom in there. So you can see this gap down, and what happened? Gapping down. What happened to Bitcoin's price? Went up. Let's have a look at some other ones. You can see a gap down here. Let's have a look at that. So in this case it gapped down. Bitcoin's price came up. Just be aware that there is always turbulence inside the market. We can't just look at one data point and say, oh, it gapped down, so therefore everything is fine. We have to stack the probabilities, but it's generally quite good. But if we look at this big gap down here, Bitcoin was actually coming down as well. But in general, what this means is that fear is leaving the market. And we can see that because we've had so many weeks of continuous sell-off that we would expect a rally. We've been waiting for it. Remember that there is no certainty. Certainty is zone 1 and zone 2, and it's going to cause stress and sleepless nights. Just move towards probability. And what we've seen here in the Nasdaq, we definitely got a relief rally up. I believe we're going to come all the way back up and test this resistance line. What happens from that point is really important. And why did we get a bounce here? Because there's so much support in this particular zone. Prices don't just come straight down. They always move in a wave, up and down, up and down. We saw some normalization in bond prices. Bond prices have taken a route that is very unprecedented, and bond yields have also done an unprecedented run. And when we look at this, we need these things to normalize out. It's kind of like when oil went parabolic. It's now normalizing, but it's on an uptrend. And if we have a look at gold, it did a parabolic run up when Russia and Ukraine, the situation there occurred, and then it's come down. But gold is in a long-term uptrend. We have a look at the DXY, the US dollar currency index. A lot of fear inside the market, retracing, bonds and yields going basically bananas, people putting their money into the dollar, waiting on the sidelines to say, where do I put my money next? Personally, I love gold. And a lot of people get into crypto and say they hate gold, and Peter Schiff has probably got a lot to do with that. I love gold. I think gold is a fantastic thing. But what do you see here? Gold has come down over 65 days, 13.2%. This is quite a massive move for gold. And then when we look at crypto, over the span of 24 hours, ADA came up 31%, Solana up nearly 21%, AVAX over 23%, Matic over 30%. So you can see why gold just doesn't do it for me anymore. But can you say, what about this huge rally in gold? It was a monumental rally. It was 16.66%, and it had only occurred over 39 days. Seriously, I do love gold. It's my absolute favorite metal, and it's fun to own, but not so fun to invest in. Having a look at the put-call ratio, we can see it's extremely elevated. It's nearly at the levels we were at when the COVID crisis hit and the world shut down. So if we think about how this actually works, when the put-call ratio comes up, it's just reflecting that everybody is really bearish on the market. They expect lower prices. And as we saw from COVID, this was the time that you absolutely get into the market, and we can see that elevated levels up here. For example, this was just below a capitulation, but this one even higher was the bottom of capitulation. So we have to be a little bit careful. We can't necessarily say this is the absolute bottom of what we're looking at Bitcoin. And of course, when we look at Bitcoin and the stock market, Bitcoin is the one that recovers first. It's very, very powerful. And so when Bitcoin turns around, that's an indication that the stock market is turning around also. And we've explored that extensively in the masterclass. When we look at Bitcoin compared to inflation expectations, we can see that little bump up in Bitcoin was sufficient to rally the alts by double digits. That's why a lot of people can't understand how you can make money in bear markets. You can make money in bear markets, but buying is the key. That's rule 7. Buying creates profits. We can see that the 10-year break-even inflation rate and the 5-year break-even inflation rate took a little bit of a pip upwards, and so did the Nasdaq, and so did Bitcoin. But we can also see the correct 8.3 back on the annual inflation rate, and we can see the federal balance sheet. The Fed balance sheet is actually trending up a little. This is why a lot of people say, just look at the data. Don't care about what people say. Look at the actual facts. This gives you the picture, and you can go independent of the news. And masterclass students, you'll get this live chart in TM4. The inverse DXY can be a really good indicator of how gold and silver can go, and we can see the inverse DXY had been tanking down. That means that the dollar was rallying, and we see gold actually follow suit. We've seen a bit of a kick up here in silver. Masterclass students, you'll get this in TR23. We do a lot of in-depth analysis inside the masterclass. It's really deep stuff. And when we look at inverse real rates compared to the Nasdaq, compared to gold, and of course our favorite Bitcoin, we can see inverse real rates are starting to trend up. That is really good. We saw inverse real rates just plummeting, witnessing the COVID sell-off. Now we're seeing potentially a bottom forming. It's a little bit early to tell, but this is a really, really good sign. This could be actually hammering in a low, but we'll have to take it easy. We need to just let it play out a little bit more. The markets, the main markets, basically move at a snail's pace. Crypto is so fast paced, but the main markets are like watching grass grow. The reason that we look at the main markets is Rule 45. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, but also Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity because of the interdependent nature of financial markets. Even if we don't want to believe that, we just can see it in the charts all the time, so we must pay attention to it. Crypto technical analysts track reality. They don't track anything other than that. Many people want to buy the bottom, but when you say, okay, the bottom, for example, is down here, they say, I'm not going in that. Are you crazy? That's a falling knife. Please let me know in the comments, were you actually buying into this falling knife that we've seen retracing? And it looks pretty sick right now. Sick not in a good way, but sick like that's going down. But this is what actually happens all the time. If we look to this COVID sell-off, for example, here, prices were coming down and down and down and down and down, and people would say up here, oh, I missed the bottom, but they were never in the market in the first place. This is a critical thing to put inside your thinking. Zone 1 and Zone 2 want to buy the bottom, but they're not there when the price is tanking. They're actually selling, not buying. Zone 3 and Zone 4 have a much better opportunity to buy near the bottom, but they're not chasing it. They're just buying at support levels down, and the redder, the better. This could be a little bit of fun. If you were actually buying in this particular price action, what was the lowest price that you got, for example, for Bitcoin, if you were in Bitcoin? Or it could be another crypto. Maybe you're in ADA or maybe Solana. I don't think we'll talk about Luna because Luna is sort of like a basket case right now. Thanks, Do Kwon. Maybe it's Ethereum, but please tell us your lowest price. It's really wonderful to share that with the community. Turning to Bitcoin, we can see that we've had a very positive rejection of these key levels and also our absolute sort of 10-5-10 capitulation catching level as well. This is really terrific because what it says, there is inherent strength inside the crypto market. The current price of Bitcoin is $29,380, and we can see that when we look at the Nasdaq 100, we also had that bounce as well. It doesn't mean the bounce is over. For example, it may, when the markets reopen, it may keep on going up to a level of resistance up around here, or it may flick back downwards. If we get positive price momentum, I believe that around this $35,000 level will be quite critical, so just keep your eye on that. Of course, we've got very massive support coming in at $25,690. Always have your in advance probabilistic choices made. Know what you will do with your portfolio, not just your trading or investing, your entire portfolio. If prices continue to go up, or if they reverse strongly and go down sharply, or they just trade flat. You need these three dimensions in your decision-making process. That way you will not get caught off guard. and only you can make the decision as to what you do. A lot of people want to ask someone else, what should I do? The truth is, it doesn't matter what other people recommend to you. Only you can make the decision. And it's exactly the same thing when it comes to buying or selling. Only you makes the decision to buy or sell something. So always do your own research and always be independent. Looking at the longs and the shorts, we can see the shorts have been coming out of the market and the longs continue to enter. If these longs get liquidated, it will push price down. It could even push price down, for example, around the 20,000 mark. Just please bear this in mind. There's a lot of confidence returning to the market, but price is always moving in a wave. And we always want to normalize things. We don't want things to get too out of hand. Over the past 24 hours, there's been 291.65 million in liquidations across nearly 120,000 positions. If you're in the market and you're leverage trading, you're going long or you're going short under leverage, please be aware that you can get liquidated in both directions. The crypto market is really violent in terms of percentage movements. You can actually get shaken out of hedges as well when you go short and go long simultaneously. It's just a license to lose money. It's best if you get away from that and just get your level of knowledge up to a professional level, and then you can do whatever you want. Let's have a look at the past 24 hours. About 65.28% short liquidations. What about the past 12 hours? You can see how it really changes around. Nearly 60% of liquidations were long. What about the past 4 hours? They're coming up. Nearly 74%. What about the past hour? Here we go. 97%. Those longs are getting too overextended at the moment, and the shorts have been hit. But we can see overall today, the majority of liquidations have been short liquidations, but this can change around as well. And as we enter the weekend, you can get really thin volume. And when you get thin weekend volume, literally anything can happen. So please be aware of that. Turning to crypto fear and greed, we're at 10. So we've basically broken the fear and greed indicator. So many people are feeling immense fear. We look at this also, like the put-call ratio, as a counterintuitive indicator. We love to buy extreme fear. The more fear, the better, because it means that people have basically given up. They've capitulated. They've walked away from the market, just like that cartoon. I play this for you because I think it's such a good representation. When there's extreme fear, this is what happens. People run like anything to get away. And that is generally when prices turn around. Many people joke about they're experts in selling, in buying the top and selling the bottom. We've all been there. We all go through that process. And what it's all about is mastery of emotional control. And it takes a long time to do that. You know that you're in mastery of your emotional control when you do not blame. That's why I put so much effort into explaining blame. Blame is really, really dangerous. It stops learning and it will erode your market profitability and it will erode your happiness in life. When turning to futures open interest, we can see that we're under resistance at the moment. All of this extreme fear is pushing people out of the market. We could get a sharp kick up, but there could be some more negative downside. Just please always keep this in mind. Just keep on doing your three-way strategic understanding. Looking at Bitcoin options expiring at the end of May, what we can see is the max pain price, which is the price with the majority of option holders. Their value expires worthless. Their options expire worthless. Either puts, which is a down price, or calls, which is an up price. And we can see that's about 20% from the current price that Bitcoin is. So let's just think about that. The market is pricing in Bitcoin will probably rise. And you can see stacking probabilities is no easy thing to do. You'll get a lot of conflicting signals in the market. And that's why I put the masterclass together. It's basically to transfer my 30 plus years in market to you. When looking at the KS model, we can see this lower boundary in red. That current price is measured just up here. You can see that price is 25,687.95. This is a live model. This is built on Bitcoin's price. So what you can see is this is always changing. We would expect if price capitulates around the 25,687 mark is where it would be caught. Just some quick news for you. Ripple and the SEC file a joint motion to request time extension in the ongoing lawsuit. This thing is never going to finish, but actually that's a good thing because we don't want any more turbulence inside the crypto market at the moment. So it looks like the Ripple SEC decision will probably extend into perhaps January next year. In other headlines, UAE's largest airline, Emirates, embraces Bitcoin payments. Not bad. In other news, Austin City Council in Texas approved measures for tax payments. Wow, fantastic. And that's payments specifically in Bitcoin. And we can see Austin Steakhouse Three Forks began accepting Bitcoin for payment. It's fantastic to see this. We're so early in the adoption of Bitcoin and crypto. Turning to about the top 100 cryptos, we can see the majority of cryptos are still quite significantly underwater. Maker is above, but only 3.45%. And we can see this lower boundary, ANC, is Anchor Protocol. It's the one that's being hammered the most. We can also see Celsius not doing too well either. Looking at the top 20 over the past 14 days, we can see Tron TRX is out in front, up 16.14%. What a difference a week makes. We can see FTT and the rest negative. Just keep your eye on this yellow line. Maybe I'll turn that to white. There you go, magic. The concept is this one is Bitcoin's price action, the white line. And when the white line goes down, look at what happens to the top 20 projects. They all come down. When it comes up, what happens? Depending on if we have variance, pretty much they all follow Bitcoin's directional price movement. This is really important to understand. It may be not going to follow it 100% of the time, but it does give you a very, very good indication. I wanted to show you something really interesting here. If you look at Bitcoin, what it did, if from this low up to this high, it came up about 16.15%. But when we look at Ethereum, over that same duration, it came up 19.09%. Binance Coin came up 40.75%. XRP up 38.98%. Look at ADA up over 50%, 51.1%. Solana up 44.16%. Poor old Luna, it's just disappeared. USDT is suspended in terms of trading, but Binance is currently doing Luna BUSD. And we can see AVAX up 51.46% and even a little bit higher. So we could put that a higher number if we wished, but you get the idea. We need to make a few quick adjustments to the top 8. Doge and DOT have entered, and we can see that Doge actually came up 39.91% and DOT 61.51%. You can see that there are always opportunities to profit in the crypto market. And when we look at what happened, when we're looking at a sell-off like this, most people are absolutely running for the hills, but we are running into the market because we know we're on the right side of the percentage. And because we BORSOG and we know what we're doing when we do that, you can see these returns are very, very nice returns. Let's look at the next group of cryptos. We can see Theta coming up about 48%, even a little bit higher. T-Fuel coming up nearly 50%. SHIB coming up 58.43%. This is the power of Bitcoin's gravity. A lot of people don't think Bitcoin's gravity actually exists. I hope this conclusively proves that it does. EGLD coming up 29.26%. And look at Phantom, up 81.55%. And let's have a look at CHR, up 83%. You can see that there's always opportunities to make money, and the redder the better. But what do we understand? When this comes down, when the price comes down like this, people are actually selling. That's what causes the price to come down. And when it comes back up like this, they're trying to buy. We get on the right side of the percentage. We get on the red side of the percentage. And not just at one level. A lot of people think that they can BORSOG, but there's a lot to it. So you could say everybody knows buy on red, sell on green. Well, that's pretty easy. That's easy to implement. No, it's not. It takes a lot of knowledge, especially emotional control. And don't forget, some people want you to be fearful. Some people don't want you to BORSOG. Why is that? Either they are or they don't understand the crypto market. The crypto market is unlike any other market on the planet. And you can see that by the examples we are going through today. And you need to make your way slowly through these learning sessions. It's like walking up staircases. It's not easy to do, but when you get there, by going slow to go fast, you'll do really, really well. I just wanted to do this pretty in-depth analysis to show you that there are always opportunities in the market, and some opportunities are very, very substantial. Let's have a look at some community favorites. Near came up 44.33%, Matic 49.3%, Icon 37.63%, Veracity did really well, over 100%, Rose came up 50%, and let's have a look, Rune nearly 50%, 49.98%, IOTA 51.91%, well done IOTA, and IOST up nearly 37%. When I look at any of these particular cryptos, I just do it as a community service. I'm not endorsing any specific crypto. You must make your own decisions on what you get into. I'm just simply showing you the pattern recognition. Let's have a look through the metaverse. We can see SAN came up about 59%, Axie up nearly 42%, Decentraland Mana up nearly 84%, about 83%. And we look at Gala. Gala went absolutely bananas. And we'll talk about Ape in a minute. It went up over 109%. Well done, Gala. And what about Engine Coin? Up 58%. Ape up 86%. Chili's up 43.5%. SLP up 65.84%. You can see that there's always ways to make money, even when the market looks incredibly scary. It looks like this. Everybody is abandoning ship, but not us. We know what the percentages on our side mean. They mean those green areas. Turning to some more community favorites, we can see Cody came up 55.53%, CRV up 45%, Waves up nearly 38%, Arweave AR up over 70%, ZIL up 42.19%, Cello up 46%, Cartesi up over 55%, and ANC absolutely tanked, and from that bottom it went up 801.92%. And you can see that there's other influences out there. Say it's a bear market, get out, oh, just get out, you can't make money. We can see the BORSOG market, it's proven. And when you think about deleting the idea of a bear market, deleting the idea of a bull market, and just going in and buying on red, selling on green, but doing so with knowledge, you can definitely be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. You can see how so many people are shaken out of the market in exactly the time that they should be running in. They're running away from it. And what do we do as smart money, institutions of one? We come in when everybody else is bailing. That's because we buy on red and sell on green, but that is also a rule that requires a lot of knowledge. When dealing with losses, it's really important to just focus on you either learn or you win. You don't lose, you're either learning or winning. And please always be kind to yourself. It doesn't matter what happened, it just matters that you stay around and get stronger. We know we need to get stronger because without self-mastery, wealth disappears. And life is always waiting for you to be ready for abundance. All you need is the knowledge. All you need are the rules. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and to the CTKS ambassadors for mentoring masterclass students. And of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global KS family. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass and our NFT collection, and you can always reach out to me anytime and directly message me on Twitter. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.